Hello, this is the first of a series of videos I'll be producing that will go through the features of Weidmuller's easyConnect service. easyConnect is a portal cloud service that Weidmuller offer to be used in conjunction with their hardware. It can be used with IIoT Gateways or controllers. There are two apps that are used by easyConnect. One is called the telemetry app and the other is called the Weidmuller IIoT Connect app. Currently, as of February 2024, these are the current versions. The Weidmuller IIoT connector is used to create a link from the hardware controller to the easyConnect platform. And the Weidmuller telemetry app is how to get data from the controller into the cloud service and create dashboard visualizations of the process. It's not for controlling, it's just for visualization and gathering data. I have also highlighted three other apps, Node-RED, uLink Remote Access and CodeAssist Control SL. These are not actually apps used by easyConnect, but they are configured in the same area of the controller. Related hardware. We offer 4 different controllers, 2 IIoT gateways. One of the IIoT gateways has got an inbuilt SIM card slot, so it offers 4G comms. The others are all via an Ethernet port. And the current firmware, if you want to use the controller as what we call a uOS or CodeAssist controller, is version 2.10. You don't have to use CodeAssist if you prefer to use the controller as a web controller, which is how the first 2 controllers shown on this table here, the WL2000 AC and WL2000 IoT, are actually supplied as a web controller. To make them into a CodeAssist or uOS controller requires a firmware update. To access the easyConnect service, you must first go to the Weidmuller support website. So this is a relatively new website. So just go to Weidmuller support, and we have this link here, Weidmuller Support Center. We click on there and we can then access easyConnect. So just to say, the Weidmuller support website is available to everyone to use, as is the easyConnect platform. So to make use of easyConnect, you just click into here, and you need to create an account if you haven't already got one. I have an account, so up here you'll see what we call the tenant or the user group I'm in, so I'm here. So now you have an account and you have access to easyConnect. You need to be aware of licenses before we set up any devices. So if we go to licenses down the bottom left here, you'll see we have trial licenses. So the one we're interested in for this video is Data Viz Basic. So this is used by the IIoT and telemetry connector to actually allow you to transfer data from the hardware to the easyConnect cloud service. So you click onto there and you say request a license. And this, as I say, it's a trial license. It's totally free of charge. There's some terms and conditions you should read and have a read of this description. But it runs for 90 days. And then it can be requested again after it expires. So it's not like it's 90 days and then you must buy. You've got 90 days and then you can reapply for a new license if need be before you then go for a paid license. So to request a license, you just click on this button and you should get a notification when that request has gone through and an activation code or an activation license So I'm not going to do it, but you'd request license and activate license. You click in here and you would have been sent a license key which you enter here, and that gives you a free 90-day trial. Then once we do that, we can move on to the next step. Then you have device management, which is where you set up your devices. So that's the initial starting point. So if I open up Device Manager, I have no devices at the moment. So this is exactly as you would see as a new user. So I say add device, and it says device type. So I'm going to pick a controller. I can add some additional details, name of device. So I'll call it uOS controller, because this particular controller's got code assist on it. I can add some additional details, but as you can see, it's all optional. There's no need to. It's up to you. And then you have to enable one or both of these connectors. So as I mentioned earlier, the IIoT connector is the basic connector you need. So we'll go with that. Add device. It says here new device added, and it says activation credentials are here, and it's not connected yet. The connection is pending. So basically what I need to do is associate the easyConnect Weidmuller IIoT connector to the actual physical hardware of the controller. So I can click here and I can see my credentials, and then I can copy it, and I have 7 days to activate it. So I've just clicked on that icon to copy. Okay, so I now need to open up a new tab and actually connect to the physical hardware. So the physical hardware obviously needs to be connected to the internet. So you can see that's the physical hardware I have, the part number, and this particular one has uOS installed. So I go to the uOS control center, and the important area is apps. So at the moment I have Code Assist Control app installed and Node-RED. You may not have those at this point. That's not important. The important thing is the apps we're going to install. So we go to install, and we're going to add the IIoT connector, which we've already in the process of setting up in easyConnect. This may take a few minutes. Okay, so this opens up the app hub or directory of apps available to you. So just go through the list. What I would say is the WL2000 controller is limited in how many apps you can install. So I would not try and install more than say 4 apps, but it really depends on which combination. So I want to install the IoT Connect app, so I just click on there. It checks for what versions are available. Look, normally you just go for the latest, so there's only 2 versions. So I'll go for the latest one, install that, install, and again this may take a couple of minutes to install. So while that's doing that, just to remind you, I go to easyConnect. This is the IIoT connector, which must relate to the IoT connector in the hardware, and I've copied that activation code, and once this is installed I then have to activate it. Okay, so that took about 4 minutes. So the app is now installed and running. So I now have to click into the app and I have to open it. And the status is offline. So what I have to now do is go to activation or onboarding and copy and paste that code and connect. Okay, so it's got a device ID and the time and date, and down here connection successful to the cloud service. So if I go back to status, we're online, everything's looking good. Okay, so if I go back to the controller tab, because it opened a second tab for the IIoT connector, go back to the control center, go back to App Manager, and now I want to install the telemetry app because I want to be able to create dashboards in the cloud to visualize data from the hardware. So again, this may take a minute. Okay, so we can scroll down the list until we find the telemetry app, and again let it check the versions, install the latest, and again this will probably take 3 or 4 minutes to complete. Okay, so that has now installed the telemetry app and it's running. You can click in here, open the telemetry app, and log in, and notice it does actually say the default password is Procon. Okay, so that is set up now. So if I now go back to the easyConnect tab, I'm in the uOS controller, it's online, and it says connectors. I have Weidmuller IIoT connector and it's online. We don't actually see the telemetry connector here, we only see the Weidmuller IIoT. But when we go back to the physical hardware, the controller, we can see the status is okay, it's running. And the activation code is there as well for the IIoT. So go back to the telemetry. And you have the telemetry app running, driver and system management. So the key thing from a customer's point of view is that all those are running okay. And then it's called a protocol, but it's actually a log of what's happening. And then if you set up tags, they'll be there. And then what type of driver are you using? So you can use OPCUA, Modbus, CodeAssist or Allen Bradley. I'm not going to go into detail explaining how you set up the dashboards and the tags. I'll do that in another video because that will be probably 10 or 15 minutes in its own right. So that's really it for this video. Hopefully that's give you a bit of an insight to what easyConnect is and how to install your first couple of apps, the IIoT connector and the telemetry app, and I'll go into more details in future videos. Thank you.